The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everyone. Welcome, and thanks for joining us. We're just going to give it one more minute to allow folks to continue to jump on the webinar, and then we'll get started. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. We're just going to give it one more minute while people continue to jump on, and then we'll get started with the webinar today. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the August National Farm to School Network Farm to Early Care and Education webinar. Today, our topic is around state agencies as leaders and partners in growing farm to early care and education. And we'll be digging into how state agencies, including departments of agriculture, education, and health, can be leaders and partners in facilitating growth and institutionalization of farm to early care and education at the state level. We have some fantastic presenters and guest speakers today, and thank you so much for joining us. A few housekeeping reminders as we get started. This webinar will be recorded and archived for future viewing in the National Farm to School Network resource database. You'll also receive an email following this webinar with the link and any resources and reports shared by our speakers today. So keep an eye out for that follow-up email. Also, all attendees are joining us in listen-only mode. We do have a great turnout, so that would be a lot of noise. So everyone will be on mute as an attendee. If you do have questions, please feel free to put those in the question box as they come up for you. We'll save all questions till the end, but we will have a significant amount of time for some question and answer and discussion at the end. So as questions come up for the panelists, please feel free to enter those in that question box. Great. So my name is Lacey Stevens. I'm the Farm to Early Care and Education Associate with the National Farm to School Network, and I will be your host and moderator for today's webinar. Please feel free to reach out to me with questions following the webinar or any of your farm to early care and education interests or needs. So today we have a great packed agenda for the next hour. First, we'll be hearing some updates from the National Farm to School Network and some exciting plans for the upcoming Farm to School month, and also some new resources that are coming from the National Farm to School Network. Then I'll be providing a little context around our state agencies discussion today with some overarching views of what state agencies can do to be involved in Farm to ECE. And then we'll be hearing from some states who are really leading the way in this work. From Missouri, we'll hear from Lisa Farmer from the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. And then from South Carolina, we'll hear from Mary Abney Young and Anna Hartranft. So to get us started, I'd love to start by talking about National Farm to School Month. And October is coming up right away. So now's the time to start planning for those events and activities to celebrate National Farm to School Month. At its core, National Farm to School Month is a time to celebrate the connections that are happening all over the country between children and local food. And it's a great time to start introducing people to the idea of farm to school and early care and education, maybe for the first time. The National Farm to School Network was part of a coalition that advocated for the creation of National Farm to School Month, and it's been designated by Congress since 2010 as part of the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act. So now National Farm to School Network leads in organizing this annual celebration in partnership with many other organizations. And it's really all about raising the conversation and educating more people about the benefits of farm to school and farm to early care and education. So the great thing about National Farm to School Month is this is really an opportunity for everyone, from our littlest eaters to childcare providers to farmers to policymakers and community members, to come together and find ways to get involved and celebrate everything that farm to school and farm to early care and education is all about. So coming up in 2017, our campaign is really aimed at inspiring, informing, and encouraging everyone to get involved and take action for farm to school and farm to early care and education within their own communities and at the national level. So we'll have a lot of ways to be inspiring, informing you and getting folks to take action and get involved, from in blogs to share stories to webinars and tweet chats, to share knowledge and information and get people excited. And we'll again have a take action pledge and sweepstakes to find out more about what people are doing and allow you all to share what's happening in your communities. So we have a ton of great resources that our amazing communications team has brought together to help you celebrate National Farm to School Month. So at farmtoschool.org/month, you'll find all of these downloadable resources, from posters to stickers to bookmarks to coloring sheets, to help you celebrate. You'll find activities and opportunities and a activities and events calendar to find out what's happening in your state. You'll also be able to sign up to be an outreach partner organization, which provides you with even more resources and information about how to promote farm to school and early care and education and National Farm to School Month to your contacts and your outreach networks. So take a look at farmtoschool.org/month for all of these amazing resources and ideas to help you get started on celebrating your own National Farm to School Month. And there are an immense number of opportunities to get engaged with early care and education, farm to early care and education during National Farm to School Month. If you haven't or aren't engaged in these activities already, it's a great time to take that first step in visiting a farm, a local farm or a farmer's market, serving that first local food, or finding an opportunity to celebrate with the children, families, and communities by planning an event during National Farm to School Month. Again, we've got all of those great resources to help support your events. And we also want to hear from you about what's happening in your local community. So please find the opportunity through our website and through our staff to share what's happening within your local community, and we want to share out those stories and those pictures as well. So we'll provide you with resources, information, and you share with us how you're celebrating too. So we also have some additional resources that are coming out at the perfect time to help support your National Farm to School Month efforts. So one resource I wanted to point out and share is the National Farm to School Network Roadmap for Farm to Early Care and Education, which we recently released. We're really excited about this resource. And this resource is really kind of uniquely aimed at folks who are really just getting a handle on what the early care and education landscape looks like, and where are the opportunities to fit farm to school activities into the early care and education setting. So it provides a lot of background on what is this early care and education landscape. What is that step-by-step approach to getting started in farm to early care and education? And who are those key early care and education leaders and contacts that I need to get in touch with to start building that early care and education network? So that's all available online at our website. And please do check it out. It has a lot of valuable resources to help build those farm to early care and education networks and relationships. I also want to mention our newly revised and released Benefits of Farm to School fact sheet. Many of you are probably very familiar with this resource. It is one of our most popular resources, and it has now been updated not only to include early care and education now, but also some of the newest research around the benefits of farm to school and farm to early care and education. And this is a fantastic resource to help you promote farm to school and farm to early care and education to your partners, as it explores these kind of multiple levels of benefits, from economic and community benefits to public health to education, even to environment. So this is a fantastic resource to help support your farm to school and farm to early care and education efforts. Great. So I will mention, if you're new to farm to school or farm to early care and education and are interested in getting just a little more background and basic understanding, I highly encourage you to visit our website at farmtoschool.org. You'll find an early care and education specific landing page that provides a lot of this 101, Farm to ECE 101 information to help you begin those efforts. And we certainly encourage you to seek that out, as well as to learn more about the National Farm to School Network and the many resources and supports that we can provide and offer. Today, we're going to be going a little bit beyond that basic farm to early care and education. We're going to be talking about state agencies in farm to early care and education, and how state agencies can provide that opportunity to support and expand and institutionalize farm to early care and education at the state level. So we have three fantastic presenters today. First, we'll be hearing from Lisa Farmer. Lisa Farmer is a nutrition specialist with the State of Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, Bureau of Community Health and Wellness. She has over 20 years of community nutrition experience. Lisa's current projects include coordinating the Missouri Culinary Skills Institute and developing the Missouri Farm to School and Farm to Preschool programs. She has a proven track record for student success and an ability to grow nutrition-related programs. Her past work experience includes food styling for cookbook authors, expanding community nutrition projects through building relationships with community partners, promoting healthy eating via a variety of media channels, including live television, and developing trainings and resources for food service staff. We'll also be hearing from Mary A. Young. Mary is the director of the Child and Adult Care Food Program at the South Carolina Department of Social Services. In this role, she leads a team of 12 outstanding professionals to approve, train, and provide technical assistance to child care centers, child care homes, emergency shelters, after-school programs, and adult daycares participating in CACFP. She has over 20 years of experience working with USDA nutrition assistance programs. Ms. Young received her Bachelor's of Science degree from the University of South Carolina in Business Administration. She's a South Carolina native and enjoys working to improve the lives of children and adults in care. We'll also be hearing from Anna Hartrimp. Anna obtained her degree in health education with a focus on food access as it relates to health outcomes from Rollins School of Public Health at Emory University. She's been working to connect and engage communities with their local food system for several years across the Southeast, and is excited to be in her current role at South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control, supporting their farm to preschool, farm to food bank, and farm to retail statewide initiatives. So we're thrilled to have these incredible speakers with us today to share their experience and knowledge in connecting farm to ECE and state agencies. To get us started, I'm going to do kind of a brief overview of some of the many ways that state agencies can and have been getting involved in supporting farm to early care and education across the country. So one of the easiest and lowest commitment ways for state agencies to support farm to early care and education is by integrating farm to early care and education concepts into existing training and informational opportunities. So a first step could be inviting a guest to attend an already planned training for early care and education providers. For instance, in New Mexico, the annual CACFP training representatives training brings a farmer co-op representative to speak about purchasing and provide resources and tools around local purchasing in the state. In this photo here, you'll see a group of providers in Minnesota who are perusing a farm to early care and education resource table set up at one of their CACFP training opportunities. So in addition to kind of integrating the early care and education pieces into existing training, there's also a lot of opportunity to have some topic-specific training that can provide professional development opportunities. So in Utah, for instance, they have a garden training opportunity that provides some of those professional development hours to early care and education providers every year. State agencies can also utilize their existing platforms to promote farm to early care and education activities and resources. We see some great examples, and I'll share some of these momentarily, of websites, of state agency websites using their website as a platform for early care and education resources and opportunities, and having a go-to place for providers in their states to access all of those resources in one place. So that's a great opportunity to utilize those existing state agency platforms to support farm to early care and education. Webinars, again, are a great kind of low entry way to be able to share farm to early care education opportunities as well. Many state agencies are already offering webinars to various groups, and integrating that farm to early care education piece is a great low entry opportunity to share that information. So here's just an example of how some state agencies are incorporating Farm to ECE into their existing work. So Utah, as I mentioned, holds events every year around growing healthy kids and integrating farm to early care and education into CACFP work and into the early care and education environments. And on the other side of the screen, you'll see both Indiana and Wisconsin have very comprehensive resources around farm to preschool and farm to early care and education embedded into their Department of Education or Department of Public Instruction websites. So a next step, going a little bit beyond kind of integrating already existing resources and materials, is to develop more state-specific resources and materials for early care and education providers in the state. That could include training modules like the one you see on the right there that Texas Farm Fresh has developed, which is a really interactive, engaging online training module that is accessible to early care and education providers. It could be developing seasonality and purchasing guides. And many times that doesn't necessarily need to be created as an original resource, but adapted for the early care and education setting, which is an easy adaptation that can happen and then have that distributed through early care and education channels at the state level. We'll also be hearing more from South Carolina around their Palmetto Picks resources and many of the Harvest of the Month programs that are happening around the country, specifically in South Carolina, the work that they've done around providing resources to their providers around those seasonal opportunities. So at a bit of a higher level and more commitment from a state agency can be devoting staff time and manpower. And it's really amazing what even just a small amount of staff time can do if we have someone in that role of coordinating and bringing people together. So in many agencies, particularly looking at perhaps CACFP agencies, someone might be appointed as a Farm to ECE specialist, and that person might just have a special interest, maybe even as little as 5 to 10% of their time devoted to exploring these opportunities and sharing resources and information. But really just having that go-to point person can make a lot of difference and really help promote the work at the state level. Of course, certainly, as more time is devoted through a coordinator position or through a dedicated position, the more capacity that builds and the more readily farm to early care and education can expand across the state. And this is certainly an opportunity to look at how maybe some policy pieces can be incorporated or where there might be opportunity for some policy changes that could develop some funding or identify opportunity to get a coordinator position in some of these state agency roles. So we'll hear certainly from Lisa and Anna and Mary about how their roles fit into farm to early care and education and how that's worked for their state agency. Certainly a great opportunity for state agencies is to be able to leverage some of those funding opportunities that come through that might be able to be used to support farm to early care and education endeavors. In Missouri, we'll hear from Lisa about team nutrition and how the team nutrition resources and grants have been used to support farm to early care and education endeavors. Colorado also has a great farm to early care and education program funded by team nutrition dollars. And another funding opportunity that has been leveraged in the past are the 1305 grants from Centers for Disease Control that come through the state health departments. So Georgia's farm to early care and education initiatives have been in part funded by some of those state health department dollars coming from the 1305 CDC grants. And finally, a really valuable role that state agencies can offer is to both lead and be actively participating in statewide network building. We'll hear from Lisa again about how her state agency has had an incredible role, and the state agencies in Missouri have come together to build a really strong network that's been supported a great opportunity for growth for both farm to school and farm to early care and education in Missouri. In Georgia, the Farm to Preschool or Farm to Early Care and Education Network has had incredible growth thanks to support from the State Department of Health and then other state agencies that have been actively involved and engaged there. And then North Carolina, of course, has a very strong farm to preschool network that has developed some fantastic resources as well as supporting growth in the state. And the advantage of being involved and engaged from the state agencies in these network building is it allows opportunity to really capitalize on shared resources and opportunities, not duplicate efforts, and really take advantage of the different work that state agencies might be doing and the different leverage points that state agencies might have. And it also ensures a parallel messaging so that all state agencies, whether that's coming from the Department of Agriculture or the Department of Education or CACFP, are all really focused in and sending this message that farm to early care and education is a priority and important piece of what's happening across the state. So with that kind of brief overview of what's happening in different states across the country, I'm very excited to be able to turn over the mouse to Lisa Farmer, who's going to tell us a little bit more about what is happening across Missouri and the role that state agencies in Missouri are playing in growing farm to preschool and farm to early care and education. So Lisa, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. You should be able to control the mouse now.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Lacey, and good afternoon, everyone. I want to provide a little background information on the early childhood farm to preschool program in Missouri. I might need you to forward the slides. There we go. Thank you, Lacey. So children can be amazing change agents for families, and when they are exposed to new fresh produce at school and at preschool, they create an enthusiasm at home. The enthusiasm can lead to healthier eating and starting gardens and things like that in their home. Research has shown that early eating patterns are determinant of later eating patterns, and with this in mind, early childhood is the perfect time for children to form a relationship with seasonal local foods. In the state of Missouri, over 300,000 children under the age of 6 are in child care, and that is a lot of our future consuming a majority of their daily nutrients in child care. In fact, children in full day care are consuming approximately 2/3 of their daily nutrients and part day 1/3 of their daily nutrients. You can go ahead and switch. Missouri's Farm to Preschool program was created by the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services through a 2015 USDA Team Nutrition Grant. The program features Farmer Mo in this picture and Chef Ginger. And Farmer Mo grows produce in Missouri, and his friend Chef Ginger turns that produce into delicious menu items that children love. Together, Mo and Ginger help children learn what vegetables and fruits are grown in Missouri and when that produce is ready to harvest. Next slide. Oh, back one. The 2015 USDA Team Nutrition Grant allowed the state of Missouri to award 79 subgrants to child care providers across the state. This grant will end in September, and we hope to offer new opportunities in 2018. Our thought process was that since farm to preschool or farm to school is not a one-size-fits-all model, Growing with Mo offers 5 strategies to begin implementation through classroom learning experiences, field trips, and gardening. Children learn where their food comes from and how to make healthy choices. And we know that when children have the opportunity to grow and prepare fruits and vegetables, they're more willing to try them. And learning about foods through taste testing offers young eaters a way to become familiar with local foods that may be new to them. Parents are able to learn about Missouri's seasonal fruits and vegetables through a newsletter that offers family time activities, seasonal produce-related books to check out at the library, and recipes to try at home. We utilize the garden-themed nutrition education kit, Grow It, Try It, Like It, from USDA, and it features 6 of the fruits and vegetables that are grown in Missouri and part of Mo's harvest of the season. Okay, next slide. So we developed a toolkit of resources, and the web address for that is on the slide. The toolkit is basically an overview of how to set up a farm to preschool program. We have printed copies. All of the toolkit pieces are online and printable. I will go over a few of those in the next couple of slides. Oh. The classroom, it's no secret that most children love their school cooks, and inviting staff in to talk to the students about what they are eating is a great way to link the classroom and the kitchen. These resources were designed to help implement our Growing with Mo Harvest of the Season curriculum. On the right is a sample of the fruit and vegetable mini posters that were developed. They are visual posters that were designed to help children become familiar with Mo's harvest of 14 Missouri fruits and vegetables. Each poster shows 3 pictures of the fruit or vegetable, one on the farm, in the market, and then also what the food will look like on their plate. The tool on the left is the seasonal calendar with all of the 14 Missouri grown fruits and vegetables. Next slide. We always have a large request for recipes and menus. So we decided to develop a 1 week of menus for each season that highlight ways to serve the seasonal items throughout the day. So we have it served at breakfast, lunch, and then also snack. All of the items that are on the recipe or on the menu that are highlight or in bold, the centers are able to print those recipes. All the recipes meet the new CACFP guidelines and are standardized and have been taste tested and approved by centers and schools. So this was a way in the beginning that the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services used their 1305 funds. The Culinary Skills Institute was born out of a Department of Education and Department of Health brainstorm in 2014. It started as a project, cooking skills project for schools, and grew into our farm to preschool program. The training goals are to sharpen the culinary skills of the cooks, to learn to incorporate more fruits and vegetables throughout the day, to use herbs and spices to brighten the flavors of dishes, and to help them, the attendees, better understand farm to preschool and learn small steps to implement. So we are fortunate, as Lacey said, in Missouri to have a great relationship with our other state agencies. When it comes to farm to institution, we work very closely with the Missouri Department of Agriculture to partner on education materials and develop agricultural awareness. We also work closely with the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, or DESE, and the Missouri Child and Adult Care Food Program, or CACFP. They help a lot when it comes to educating sites regarding credible foods and monitoring. Next slide. So in addition, we encourage grantees and all programs to work with community partners to provide education and assistance to their students and families. This is just a list of some of them. We work very closely with the University of Missouri Extension also in the area of farm to school. They have a dedicated farm to school, farm to institution representative that we work with. Next slide. So I wanted to just highlight a few of the Growing with Mo, Harvest of the Seasons grantee highlights. This collaboration took place at a career college, and the construction and horticulture students were able to lend a hand to help the childcare students build beautiful raised beds and then fill them with local plants. And then they came in and talked to the students about raising the plants and growing. So that was a fantastic partnership. Next slide. This center did some great work. They planted sweet potatoes, and after they harvested the sweet potatoes, they took them into the classroom, and the children helped to make sweet potato fries that they then could serve on their menu. They were able to do a tasting and vote on whether they liked the sweet potatoes and have a part in choosing what would be coming up on their menu. Next slide. So I dropped this slide in because to me it paints a really nice picture of what a sustainable farm to preschool program needs to succeed. If you set your mind to taking small steps to get the program going, building relationships, building a team, you will end up producing a very strong and sustainable team that will be able to continue growing. Next slide. So finally, we were asked to report on farm to preschool lessons learned. And I have to say that there have been many lessons for me. The state of Missouri agencies have been working together for several years. And during that time, we have learned each other's strengths. We've learned each other's communication styles. And the benefit of our agencies working together is endless. I listed a few of my favorite things that have come out of our partnership, and those include increased awareness, a united force. We are there to support each other and build each other up, to plan different awareness activities around the state, and then also networking. We all attend different meetings and functions, and our agency partnership is a great way for us to link schools and preschools to farmers and to agencies that can help them across the state. So the partnership is really a big piece of farm to school and farm to preschool growing and succeeding in our state. And thank you very much. This is our Missouri Farm to Preschool team. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you so much, Lisa. It's great to hear about all the great work that's happening in Missouri. If you do have questions for Lisa, please feel free to add those to the question box, and we'll have some time for question and answers at the end. Thanks again, Lisa, for sharing that great work. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to South Carolina. So I'm going to attempt to hand the mouse over to you, Anna and Mary. If it doesn't work, you just let me know and I'll advance the slides for you.
Great, thank you, Lacey. I'm Anna Hartramp. I am the South Carolina Farm to Institution Program Coordinator, and my position is housed at the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control.
Excuse me. And I'm Mary Young. I am the Director for the Child and Adult Care Food Program. That program is administered by the South Carolina Department of Social Services.
And we work together to strengthen and expand our South Carolina Farm to Preschool program, which we will talk with y'all about a little bit right now. Okay, so Farm to Preschool in South Carolina is really a state agency collaborative. We are a program under South Carolina Farm to Institution, which is an umbrella program to encompass our other farm to school program, our farm to food bank program, our farm to retail, and then we're also doing some farm to worksite programs. And we are made up of several different state agency partners. We work closely with the South Carolina Department of Agriculture, South Carolina Department of Education, South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control, and then South Carolina Department of Social Services. So, apologies, the slides are going a little too quick. The South Carolina Farm to Preschool program follows four main components when we're talking to child care centers and child care providers about our program. The first component is purchasing South Carolina grown fruits and vegetables. We work very closely with the Department of Ag and their certified SC grown programs to really promote local produce and help support our local South Carolina farmers. The second component is serving and promoting those South Carolina grown fruits and vegetables as part of the preschool meal or snack. Third component is integrating nutrition and or agriculture education into the classroom. And lastly, we focus on establishing or maintaining a vegetable garden.
Okay, so this is Mary again, and what I'm going to talk with you about are three of the components for South Carolina Farm to Preschool, the first three. The first component is for preschools to purchase South Carolina grown fruits and vegetables, or other food items such as poultry or meat. When the program was initially started, the focus was on fruits and vegetables, primarily because children in South Carolina are similar to children in other states and do not eat enough fruits and vegetables. Also, purchasing fruits and vegetables was really an easy introduction for preschools to work with the Farm to Preschool program. With a lot of the preschools participating in the Child and Adult Care Food Program, and also for the ones that do not currently participate, it is a licensing requirement that at least one meal and one snack meet the requirements for CACFP. Purchasing South Carolina grown fruits and vegetables was really just an easy answer for them because they have to serve fruits and vegetables for those meals anyway. As the Farm to School program has expanded to include poultry, This presents an opportunity for preschools to expand the types of South Carolina grown food items that are purchased and served to children. One of the things that we have realized in working with South Carolina Farm to Institution and being on the advisory council is it provides a unique opportunity to learn what is happening in other components of Farm to Institution, such as South Carolina Farm to School and South Carolina Farm to Food Bank, and we can take advantage of the resources that were developed for the other components. Now, there are numerous resources available to assist preschools in identifying farmers and markets that sell South Carolina grown foods. Farm to Institution has developed farmer profiles, which provide a snapshot of the farmer, the food the farmer sells, when it is available, as well as information on whether the farm is GAP certified, the farmer has liability insurance, and also whether the farmer delivers and the minimum amount of foods required for delivery. So a sample of the farmer profile is on the left-hand side of the screen. And if you notice that it actually has a picture of the farmer on it, and it identifies where that farm is actually located within the state. Another resource provides a list of questions that preschools who are interested in purchasing products directly from a farmer may find helpful when having the initial conversation with farmers about their products. If you notice, and that's the one that's in the middle, and it actually makes it easy for preschool owners or teachers or food service staff to start that conversation because they have a starting point, and the guide also gives them a little bit of information as to why they're asking that question. So when they're talking with them, they can identify whether or not they're getting the type of response that they would like to get. Now, the third item that's shown on this screen is a copy of an interactive map which was developed by DHEC, South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control, which identifies the South Carolina farmers markets and roadside markets in the state. The map identifies the dates and times the markets are open, as well as the physical address. And you'll notice that on this map, there are, and I'm looking at it, there are green markers and there are red markers. And with my glasses, I'm sorry, but I can't see if it's a block or it's a circle. But anyway, so the green markers identify is either roadside or farmers market, and then the red is going to be vice versa. And if you were to click on this map, then it will give you information on the where it's actually located, physical address, and the operating times of the year and operating times for each day. So the second component of South Carolina Farm to Preschool is serve South Carolina grown products or South Carolina grown fruits and vegetables. The minimum requirement to participate in our program is to serve at least 2 items each month. Now, for those of you that are familiar with the Child and Adult Care Food Program, again, the facilities, they have to serve a fruit or vegetable at breakfast. They have to serve a fruit and a vegetable or 2 vegetables at lunch and also at supper. And they can serve a fruit or a vegetable at snack. And starting with October 1, a snack can consist of a serving from the fruit component and then also a serving from the vegetable component. So again, the Child and Adult Care Food Program is just, and participation in Farm to Preschool is just an easy checkoff box, like one of those easy buttons that one of the office supply stores have. They can just smash that button and they are already participating in Farm to Preschool. So there are a number of things that we do to assist preschools in serving South Carolina grown products. We offer culinary skills trainings, and also Child and Adult Care Food Program has a menu planning class. The menu planning class is actually offered 4 times a year, and then we offer several culinary skills trainings throughout the year. One of the things that we do in the menu planning class is we discuss, of course, the requirements for the child and adult care food program, and then we also use this as an opportunity to help child care facilities, even if they're not participating in Farm to Preschool, help them to understand how easy it is to swap out items that they may be serving, fruits and vegetables that they may be serving, swap those out for items that are actually grown in South Carolina. With the culinary skills classes, these classes are taught by local chefs. We have South Carolina Farm Institution has partnered with the University of South Carolina, and also this year partnered with Greenville Technical College to offer culinary skills trainings. And in these trainings, the chefs are providing information on knife skills, as well as food safety, as well as teaching the participants different ways of preparing fruits and vegetables, things that will make the dishes healthy. And so the participants also get an opportunity to practice their knife skills. So they are assisting in preparing several dishes, which at the end of the class, they're able to taste. And these items are very, very good, and they're also healthy. We're all about healthy here in South Carolina. Okay. The other thing that the participants will do is when they go home, they have a resource that will provide a copy of all of the recipes, as well as they receive other resources such as, of course, an apron, and then also a continuing education hours, because all the child care facilities, the staff, they have to receive continuing education hours to maintain their license. And then they also receive it's a very neat tool. It's a vegetable peeler, which on one side is a vegetable peeler, and on the other side is a scrub brush. So when they are serving fresh fruits and vegetables, that will make it very easy for them to go back and implement the things that they've learned in the class. Okay. Now, additional resources that we provide to preschools to assist them in serving fresh fruits and vegetables or South Carolina grown fruits and vegetables is the Palmetto Pick of the Month. Now, this resource was developed to highlight a fruit or a vegetable each month of the year, and to make it easy for the facilities, and this is used by schools as well as preschools, to make it easy for them to be able to incorporate fruits and vegetables into their menus, and also incorporate nutrition education into their classroom. Along with the Palmetto Pick of the Month, and this is actually a poster that can be downloaded from our South Carolina Farm to Institution website, and you'll notice it's at the bottom of that poster. And the participants also get a larger poster that they can place on the wall, either in a classroom or in the area where the children are actually eating, to make it easy to remind them of what it is that they're eating. And if you notice that these pictures are actual pictures of fruits and vegetables, and they're very colorful and very bright. Now, with the Child and Adult Care Food Program, one of the things that we do is we provide a copy of this. Again, what we want to do is make it easy for child care facilities to understand that South Carolina Farm to Preschool is very easy to incorporate into their facility, and we try to remind them of this and provide whatever tools we can at each opportunity. On the right-hand side, you'll notice that it says baked peaches and cream. That is actually a recipe for baked peaches and cream. So along with the Palmetto Picks poster, there are recipe cards that have been developed that, again, will make it easy for facilities to incorporate South Carolina grown produce into their menus, and will make it easy for them to provide something that's going to be not only healthy, but also tasty. And it gives you a different opportunity as opposed to just providing just a peach. Just waiting for the slide to advance. Okay. All right. So back. All right. So the third component is providing nutrition and ag education. Now, as you all know, nutrition education can help young children learn healthy eating habits that will carry into adulthood. Child care providers have the opportunity to introduce a variety of foods, educate children on the growing process and sources of different foods to help shape lifelong eating habits. Resources that are currently developed in South Carolina include a Farm to Preschool book guide, and that's the item that's in the middle, a taste test guide, that's on the right-hand side, as well as a field trip guide, and that is on the left. Additional resources that are not shown here include Cooking Abilities Guide, which provides information to preschool operators and caregivers and teachers on the different types of abilities, or the abilities that each child has at different age levels. And if you look at go back to the field trip guide, there is a field trip guide developed for each of the 4 regions in the state of South Carolina. And this field trip guide identifies the farms that in their particular area that these preschools can take the children to and actually go and visit a farm. And it gives them information as far as the name of the farm, where they're located, and also contact information for the particular farmers. Other resources that we provide, they're not shown here, but they can be accessed on the South Carolina Farm to Preschool website, include items that were developed by the USDA, such as Grow It, Try It, Like It, and then also items that were developed by other states that can be accessed to assist the preschools in providing nutrition and ag education.
Lastly, our fourth component is establishing or maintaining a vegetable garden. We have created some South Carolina specific resources. We have our South Carolina Garden Toolkit that's aimed towards schools as well as preschools and child care centers. It goes through each step of planning, developing, establishing, and maintaining a garden on site, and ways to get parents, teachers, and the children involved in that process. It also has planting tips and seasonal produce guides based on the South Carolina weather and seasonal patterns here in the state, and we worked closely with Clemson Extension to provide some of those gardening tips. We also provide garden workshops throughout the year. We partnered with Greenville Technical College this year. They have a new sustainable agriculture certification program and a farm on site at their campus, and we worked with them to really provide hands-on training in terms of starting a garden, building your soil, thinking about location, the plant fruits and vegetables that grow well in our climate, as well as ways to incorporate it into the fruit and vegetables that are grown in the garden into the classroom. That's been a great partnership for us, and everyone's really enjoyed it. You can also find all of our materials on our website, which is scfarmtoinstitution.com, and then we have our Farm to Preschool landing page at the top. You can click on Farm to Preschool, and it'll take you to all of our specific Farm to Preschool resources. And then lastly, we are currently in a shift in terms of our programming. For lessons learned, we actually started as just a farm to school program in 2011 and added our farm to preschool program in 2013 when we started to collaborate with the Department of Social Services here in South Carolina. And since then, we've expanded to include more farm to to institutional programs such as farm to food bank, farm to retail, and now we're working with work sites. So we have established a South Carolina Farm to Institution Advisory Council, just to kind of create some more structure in terms of our program goals and objectives. And we have the Advisory Council as our kind of decision makers in terms of what we want to focus on for the year. And right now we've worked to create a statewide slogan for farm to institution programs. Keep it local, keep it healthy is our new slogan for South Carolina Farm to Institution. And we're also starting to focus more on statewide systems changes that we can support and help implement in terms of moving away a little bit from our former grantee pilot program structure. We're now looking at ways we can support system changes statewide. So working with licensed child care centers that are participating in the child and adult care food program. How can we work with Mary over at DSS to incorporate farm to preschool components and activities into their trainings that they are already required to do? Really make those connections with local farmers when they are thinking about menu planning. And recently we've conducted a statewide farm to preschool survey in order to kind of get a better understanding of current farm to preschool activities that are going on across the state at child care centers, not just previous grantees, but statewide, and to really understand how we can support those activities that are currently going on and really work to connect child care centers to resources and tools to help them implement one of the 4 components at their child care center.
Okay, and I think that is our presentation today. Yep. And if you have any questions, this is our contact information, and we'd be happy to speak with anyone and provide any additional assistance that we can. Thank you, Lacey.
Thank you so much, Mary and Anna. Great to hear about all the work you're doing in South Carolina. And to everyone on the line, in the follow-up email you receive, we'll also link the many resources from South Carolina and from Missouri, as well as our speakers' contact information for any follow-ups. We do have just a couple of minutes for questions, so we'll get through as many as we can here. I think our first question is for Lisa. Lisa, do you charge for the printed version of the Growing with Missouri Toolkit?
Currently, we do not have extras printed. That's a very new tool that we have developed, and so we are not that. They can go to the website and find more information. We do not have a charge for it currently, but we don't have a large surplus of them. We wanted it to be green friendly so everyone could print, and they can print everything off the web page.
Great, so that's all accessible online there.
Yes.
Wonderful. So this next question is for both states. Someone is wondering about the funding for staffing around farm to school and farm to institution for the state agencies. These two states do have staffing, which is a great opportunity, but many states' budgets are limited or on a freeze. I'm wondering if you could just give a little more background on the funding that is supporting your positions and either policy or practice that allowed those positions to be developed and allow you to focus some of your time in farm to early care and education.
Sure. So in South Carolina, the South Carolina Farm Institution Program Coordinator position is jointly funded between the 1305 grant, so half of my time is devoted to our Farm to Preschool program through the 1305 grant funding, and then the 1422 CDC grant, which allows me to focus on our Farm to Food Bank and Farm to Retail initiatives, and so I kind of split my time between those three.
And for my position, of course, being a director for the Child and Adult Care Food Program, we use the State Administrative Expense Fund for CACFP. We are also looking to get become a little bit more involved and assign one of the consultants a responsibility of being a farm to preschool specialist. So that person will be more of a liaison between our agency and the advisory council. and take a more leadership role. And that person's position will be also funded by state administrative expense funds.
And in the state of Missouri, I am a nutrition specialist. My position is funded with some of the 1305 funds, some team nutrition funds, and I work according to project. So I'm not specifically farm to school or farm to preschool. We do have in the Missouri Department of Ag, there is a farm to institution coordinator there but they focus on all institutions, not just farm to school and farm to preschool. So that's why we all work together to make it work.
Great. That's really helpful to better understand. Thanks for diving into that a little bit. One last question for the South Carolina team. Do you provide any additional incentives for the programs that are participating outside of the training and technical assistance and resources? Are there monetary or supplies that are provided for participating programs?
Currently, there are no monetary incentives because we have discontinued doing the mini grants because we wanted to go to something that's a little bit more sustainable. The resources that we provide and the training is free, and then all of the resources that we provide is also free.
And usually the participants of the culinary training and the garden workshops will receive seeds or cutting boards or supplies to take back with them to kind of start implementing those components that they've learned in those workshops.
Great. Well, I want to be respectful of everyone's time, and we are at the half hour. I want to thank our speakers, Lisa, Mary, and Anna, so much for sharing your work and really demonstrating what can happen within your state when you have a supportive state agencies and really explore those opportunities and take advantage of those partnerships. So again, folks on the line, this will be recorded, and we'll also be sending an email out not only with that recording, but the many resources and contact information that our speakers mentioned. So thank you again for joining us. Our next webinar will be in October 10th, so keep an eye out for that. And please visit us on our website to learn more about how to celebrate National Farm to School Month. So start making those plans for October National Farm to School Month now. Thanks again for joining us, and have a great day.